Hi students, this is AJ sir. Let's study 10th standard ICSE Math, chapter 24C and 24D, median and mode. Exercise 24C, question 3. The marks obtained by 19 students have been given below, and we've been asked to find the median and the quartiles. If it was mean, we would have simply taken an average of all of this. But median means that if we arrange these values in an ascending order or even descending order, then what is the number which is somewhere in the middle of this array of data? Totally there are 19 such values. So which is the middle number? Perhaps it's the 10th number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This seems to be the middle value out of 19 pieces of data. Why do I say so? Because to its left, I have 9 pieces of data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And to its right, I will have a further 9 pieces of data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this seems to be the appropriate choice. And that is called the median. So median, simply speaking, is the middle value, which is not necessarily the midpoint between the two extreme values of 22 and 37. It could be any value, doesn't matter. The formula is, if you have an odd number for the number of items, then you can't take half of that, like 19 upon 2 will be 9.5. You can't have the 9.5th term. So just add 1 and then divide by 2 so that you get 10th term. This step is not important. You could have directly written it as 10th term if you can do it mentally. And the answer is 29. No units were there in the data, so no units here too. But what if the number of data items were even number? What if it's 20? Then which number will be the middle value? Well, we'll come to such a sum next. But here, Roman number 2 is find the lower quartile, also called the first quartile. Well, if median is the middle number, let's say at the 50% mark, if you start your journey from here and you reach 50% of your journey, you reach 29. And then if you continue, 100% of your journey is 37. Remember, it's important to arrange it in ascending order first. Only then will you get the right answer. If you just randomly select the 10th term out of this data, then it may not be the right answer. So, the first quartile, that is a lower quartile, is not 50% of the journey, but 25% of the journey. That is 1/4 of your journey. So let's start from here. So which number will represent the middle point of this half? That will be 20 upon 4, the 5th term. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll assume this to be the first quartile, the 5th term. This was the median, that is 50% of your journey of the data. And this is the lower quartile, this is 25% of the journey. Similarly, the upper quartile, which is Roman number 3, called Q3, is after completing 75% of your journey from the starting point. So somewhere around here, which will be the 15th term. So it will be 3/4 of 20. Why are we adding +1? Simply because we don't want a decimal value. We don't want something like 14.5th term or something. So this is 3/4, this is 1/4 if you remember, and this is 1/2. So which is the 15th term? Let's say 5th, this was the 10th term, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15th. This is the 15th term. Notice the 16th term is also the same, but that's irrelevant. So this is called the lower quartile, this is called the median, and this is called the upper quartile. So this is non-tabulated data. So it's fairly straightforward how to calculate, arrange it in ascending order. If there are totally 19 terms, or approximately 20 terms. The 5th term is the first quartile, the 10th term is the median, and the 15th term is the upper quartile. So that's how you calculate the values. And the interquartile range is simply the difference between the upper quartile and the lower quartile. That is 35 minus 26, which comes out to be 9. Remember, we have to find the difference between the values, not the term. Don't think that it will be 15 minus 5. No, it's 35 minus 26. Now the 4th sum is similar. Again, the data was given. They've asked for median, upper quartile and interquartile range, for which we'll have to find the lower quartile first, obviously. So here I'll first arrange it in ascending order. Now be very careful while writing it, because if you make one silly mistake here, then the entire sum goes wrong. Count the number of data values as well. Make sure it matches the question. How many data values are there? 16 data values. So it's an even number. So how do I find the midpoint? If I divide this by 2, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it seems to be the middle journey. But to the left hand side of this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 values. And to its right hand side, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 values. So this is not necessarily the exact middle path. So in such a case, we should consider both the 8th and the 9th data value, and we should take the average of these. So now to its left hand side we have 7 data values, and now to its right hand side we have 7 data values. So it's quite symmetrical. So if you take the average of 40 and 45, it comes out to be 42.5, and that's the answer. That's the median. So remember, average of the 8th and the 9th terms. So this step was not required. You can directly write this. This is just the formula, and that comes up to 42.5. What about the upper quartile? Upper quartile means 75% of the journey. So that's 3/4 of 16. That is 12th term. So 9, 10, 11, 12th term. That's 65. Next, Roman number 3, they want the interquartile range. But for that, I need the lower quartile. That is the 25% of the journey. So that's 1/4 of 16. That's the 4th term, which is 18. So this is the lower quartile, this is the upper quartile, and this is the median. The average of this is the median. And then the interquartile range is upper quartile minus lower quartile, which comes out to be 47. Next sum, the 6th sum. Now we have tabulated data. So the weight is given, which is X, and the frequency is given, which is F. The weights of 60 boys are given. So that means if you total the number of boys, it will be 60. What is the median weight? Well, you can see that there are 10 boys with weight 37, 14 boys with weight 38 kg, 18 boys, that is maximum number of boys, having weight 39 kg, only 12 boys with 40 kg, and only 6 boys with 41 kg, fortunately. So what's the median? How do we find that? We want a middle value. The total number of boys is 60. So step number 1 is make a table with cumulative frequency. Cumulative frequency means we start with 10, okay, and then we add the next frequency to it. So 10 plus 14 is 24, 24 plus 18, 42, 42 plus 12, 54, 54 plus 6, 60. The utility of this is that if somebody asks how many students have weight of 37 or below, you would say 10 students. How many students have weight 38 and below? You will say 24 students. 10 of them are 37 and 14 of them are 38. So 38 and below is totally 24 students. How many students have a weight of 40 kg or below? Totally 54 students. And how many students have weight of 41 kg and below? 60 students. So that is the use of cumulative frequency. And for finding median, we have to find cumulative frequency. You need to remember these different techniques of finding mean, median and mode. They have different formulae. Now for median, as I said, we have to go for the middle path. There are totally 60 students. So if only I can find the weight of the 30th student, then I can find the median. 30th student would be somewhere between 24 and 42. Somewhere here. So I'll go for the weight of the 42nd student itself. I always have to go for the higher value. So this is the median. 39 kg is the median. Ideally it would have been between 38 and 39, but I don't have any way to get the decimal value. So I'll go for 39. We could have drawn a graph to get a more accurate answer, but we need to use that only for grouped data, not for ungrouped data. So in the next sum, when we'll have class intervals, we will use a method of using ogive graph to find a more accurate answer in decimal. But right now, let's just stick to 39 kg. Don't forget to write kg. What about lower quartile? Lower quartile means 25% of the journey. So 1/4 of 60 is the 15th student. The 15th student will be between 10 and 24. So that will be somewhere around here. So I'll have to go for 38 value. 38 kg. Roman number 3, upper quartile is 75% of the journey in the data. That is 3/4 of 60 kg. That is 45th student's weight. The 45th student's weight will be somewhere around here, between 42 and 54. So I'll take the higher value. I'll go for 40 kg as the answer. So the lower quartile is 38 kg and the upper quartile is 40 kg. That's how you have to solve it. And the interquartile range is the difference between them. 40 minus 38 is just 2 kg. Don't forget to write kg. Next, the 8th sum. It's tabulated data, it's grouped data. We have class intervals. So here things get interesting. We'll have to draw an ogive graph to get an estimate of the median. So we'll make a table first. We need cumulative frequency, of course, that is 11, then 25 plus 11, 36, 12 plus 25, 48, then 53 and 55. Obviously CF always increases as we go down. What is the use of such information? If you are asked that what is the frequency or how many boys are there below the age of 30 kg, you would say 53. It is 5 plus 12 plus 25 plus 11, 53. Direct answer. How many students are there whose weight is below 20 kg? So that's 11 plus 25, that's 36 students are there. So that's the meaning of cumulative frequency. It increases as we go down. You just keep adding the next frequency to it. Now what we'll do is we'll plot a graph to find the median. There are 55 students, so make it even number 56. 56 upon 2 is 28. So the median will be the weight of the 28th student. 28th student looks like somewhere around here, between 11 and 36. But the weight is not given as a single number. It's a range given, 15 to 20. So exactly what is the median? We'll have to draw a graph, for which I need some points to plot on the graph paper. Now what we'll do is we'll make a column of X, and here X is not the class mark, that is the midpoint between 10 and 15, 12.5. No, that was for mean. Here we'll use the upper class limit. 10 is the lower class limit, 15 is the upper class limit. Here 20 is the upper class limit. Here 25 is the upper class limit. So just make a list of them. So that will be the x coordinate. The CF will be the y coordinate. So I've got these points to plot. Plot it and then draw a graph. So this is what your graph looks like. The x-axis and the y-axis. For the y-axis, please mention CF, cumulative frequency. Please mention the exercise number, question number in the center of every graph, so it's easy for you to revise in the future. And also on the main tuition book, you should always mention graph on graph paper. Even during exams, you should do that, graph on graph paper, because you'll be stapling the graph paper at the end of all the sheets. So make sure you write the question number on the graph paper, otherwise you won't get marks. You have to choose an appropriate scale. The x values were ranging from 15 to 35. Biggest number is 35. So I can afford to take 2 centimeters as 5 units. 2 centimeters as 5 units. But I didn't mention 5. It was not required. I jumped. So whenever you're jumping, you have to show a kink. Because it's not possible that here there is a difference of 10 and then there is a difference of 5. That's not symmetrical. That's not allowed. In that case, show a kink out here. And then I started 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That's enough. On the y-axis, the cumulative frequency's highest value was 55. So let's go up till 60. So I guess I should take 2 centimeters as 5 units. Will it fit? Yes, it did. Good. If it was going till 100, then I would have taken 2 centimeters till 100. 2 centimeters for 10, then 20, then 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Then only it would have fit. So you have to choose an appropriate scale so that it's not too small and it is able to fit in the graph paper given to you. After you have plotted the points, which was 15, 11. Now how do I know whether 11 is 1 line after 10 or 2 lines after 10? Well, see, here 2 centimeters is 15. So 2 millimeters will be 1.5. I mean 0.5. Because there are totally 10 lines in between. So each line represents 2 millimeters. So that's 0.5, 0.5. So 2 lines means 1 number. And use logic for this. Just count and check. If this is 10 and this is 15, so the difference is 5. So 10, 10.5, 11, 11.5, 12, 12.5, 13, 13.5, 14, 14.5, 15. So it works out. So you might just want to check it out if you don't know how to calculate the size of one small line. Just do it manually and figure it out. Because here plotting correctly is vital to get the correct answer. So 11 will be after 2 lines. So 10.5 and 11. Next point is 20, 36. So 20 is here and 36. 35, 35.5, 36. Then 25, 48 and the remaining points. I've plotted them. And then we have to draw a smooth curve. Freehand, you can't use a ruler here. So imagine if you had some points here, one out here, 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 here. Just randomly I'm taking some points. So how will you draw a smooth curve? It can't be straight lines, okay? It can't be drawn with a ruler. It'll be, first do it lightly because you're not experts yet. Like this. There shouldn't be a sudden turn or a sudden change in direction at any point. It should be very smooth, which will take a lot of practice, and that's why many students skip this question if it comes in option, because even though it's easy, they might not be very good at drawing smooth curves. But that's very rare. I recommend that you choose such sums and get full marks. Now, as I said, the median is the 28th term. So always start from the y-axis to find the median, because the median will be, answer will be on the x-axis. So 28th term, obviously 25, 2 lines 26, 2 lines 27, 2 lines 28. So draw a line with a ruler, and wherever it touches the graph, from there draw vertical line, straight line on the x-axis. And where does it meet? Well, calculate that. 15, so 2 lines 16, 2 lines 17, 2 lines 18. So the answer is 18. Which makes sense, because we knew that the answer would be somewhere between 15 and 20. But now we got an accurate answer, which is 18 kg. If your graph, your line was, say, one box to the left or one box to the right, that is, if you would have got 17.5 or 18.5, you will still get full marks. So a 2 millimeter error is allowed in both. Remember, 2 millimeter error, that's it. Anything more than that, you won't get marks for that step. Similarly, let's solve the 9th sum. Now fortunately, they have already given us ready-made data. When they say marks less than, that means these are the UCLs, that is the upper class limits. And they have also given the cumulative frequency ready-made. So we just have to plot these points. So there's no need to create this third column, but I like to write it because then it becomes easy for me to plot these 10 points onto a graph without any silly mistake or confusion. So after plotting, it looks like this. Beautiful, isn't it? The x-axis, the y-axis, CF 24C question 9. A smooth curve. There should not be any double lines, okay? A single line. Now we want the median. What's the total number of students, or the total frequency rather? It's 80. 80 is the cumulative frequency. So the median is the 40th term. Upper quartile is the 20th term, and lower quartile is the 20th term, and the upper quartile is the 60th term. So let's find out these values. Remember, always start from y-axis and get the answer on the x-axis for median. 40th term, it was easy. I'm getting answer is exactly 40. Lower quartile 20th term, I'm getting the answer as 18. And upper quartile 60th term, I got the answer as 66. Also look at the scale I chose. Here I chose 2 centimeters as 10 units. That means one box or 2 millimeters represents 1, unlike the previous sum. So here it's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's how it is 18. 19, 20. Makes sense. Always go till the end to see if it's working out or not. Next, after mean and median, let's study mode 24D, which is the easiest. Find the mode of the following data. Let's do 1.2. Here, first I'll arrange everything in the ascending order, although it was not compulsory for mode, but I prefer that to avoid errors. Now tell me which number is being repeated for the maximum number of times. 9 is repeated twice, 11 is repeated 4 times, so the winner is 11. So that's the answer. That's called mode. So mode is simply what has a maximum frequency. That's it. So easy. In fact, if it's tabulated data, it's even easier. So there are different number of boys having different heights. Which height has the maximum number of boys? 122 centimeters, right? Because it is 18 boys, frequency is 18. So the mode is 122 centimeters. That's the answer. That's it. No explanation required, no formula. This is the answer. But don't forget to write the unit centimeter. And please don't say that the answer is 18. The answer is not 18, that's the frequency. The answer is 122 centimeters. Remember, in mean, median and mode, in all three, the answer is never the frequency or the cumulative frequency. The answer is always from the X data, not from the F data. Now the fourth sum. So what is the mode? Which one? Well, the highest frequency is 23, so you would say 30 to 35, but we can't give a range. I need a precise answer. So here, because it is grouped data, we'll have to draw something called a histogram graph to find the precise mode. A histogram graph is similar to a bar graph, but here the buildings are touching each other. So x-axis and y-axis, x-axis mention expenditure in rupees, y-axis mention number of students. Remember, the y-axis has the frequency f and the x-axis always has the x values. So look at the scale which I have used. (20, 25, 30, 35, all the way till 50. And here also 5, 10, 15, all the way till 25. Could have gone for a bigger building also. I've used a kink because I just took a jump from 0 to 20. Notice that in the previous cases, we should never start the graph mid-air. Even though in our data, the first point to be plotted was 10,5. So just go one step back, and I started from 0 here. Even out here, if you notice, the first point to be plotted was 15,11, but I went one step back and I plotted from the x-axis. So an ogive should always start from the x-axis. It should not be starting mid-air. Coming back to the histogram, here the range of 20 to 25 has a frequency of 4. The range of 25 to 30 has a frequency of 7. This one has 23, 18, 6 and 2. So we should know exactly how high should each building be. Should be able to count the boxes. 2, so half, 1, 1.5, 2, 4 boxes. And the roofs of the building should also be drawn with ruler only. Do not do it freehand. Not allowed. Now we know that the tallest building is 30 to 35 range. So this is the modal class. A mode will be some value between 30 to 35. But how to find it out? Well, we'll take help of the adjacent buildings. From this tip of the adjacent building, draw a line, a diagonal. And from this tip of the adjacent building to the right, draw a diagonal. And wherever these two lines meet, from there draw a vertical line to the x-axis. That is your mode, which is falling between 33 to 34 for me. Actually 33.5 to 34. So I'll just round it off to 34, which is good enough for me, because as I said, one box error is allowed. So the answer for this sum is 34 rupees. Don't forget to write rupees in the end. And also mention graph on graph paper. And on the graph paper also write the question. Next question is the 8th one. Some data is given, tabulated but not grouped. What is his modal score? The mode. Well, the highest frequency is 7, so answer is 4. Mode is 4. What is his median score? How do we find median again? Median was some middle of the data, the middle journey of the data. And did we have step deviation method in median? No, that was in mean. Don't get confused between all the different terms. This is ungrouped data, tabulated. So what is the method to do that? Well, we find the cumulative frequency. We find the cumulative frequency. Totally there are 25. So let's make it even. 26 upon 2 is 13th term. 13th term will lie... Oh, we've got exact 13th term here. So 13th term answer is 3. This is the answer. If it was 14th term, so somewhere here, then we would have gone for the higher value, that is 4. But fortunately we got an exact answer. 3 is the answer for median. No units? No. Roman number 3, what is the total score? Well, for total score, you'll have to do summation of fx. You see, in a shooting competition, how do you score? There were 3 shots, each got 1 point, so total 3 points. 6 shots, each got 2 scores, so total 12 points. 4 shots, each winning you 3 points, so total 12 points. So what are we doing? We're doing f into x. 7 shots and each scoring 4. So totally you got 28 points. And here totally you got 25 points. So after 25 attempts, your total score came out to be 80 points. That's how shooting competitions take place. They check your total score. You get many opportunities to keep improving your score. So total score was 80. And what is your mean score? That is, after 25 attempts, you got a score of 80. So per attempt, per shot, what is your score? Well, that's called mean. That's summation of fx upon summation of f, which is 3.2 score. Which is not bad. But keep practicing, you'll become better and win an Olympic medal. Hi students, if you found this video useful, press the like button. Also, to enroll for my online lectures or online test series, email me or message me on Instagram. Check the description for more information.